So Frank and I were talking about how you know ahead of time that a project will or won't be successful. And after thinking about it, I came up with one phrase that I listen to when I hear a project manager say it. I know that the project's potentially in trouble. And if it's not in trouble, it's going to be a long road. And in many cases, it gives me an indication of whether I want to be part of that project or not. That simple phrase is the phrase, my project. If a project manager says, this is my project, that is a flag to me of two things. One, that he immediately wants to become thinks of it only in the way of budget and schedule, the things that he can control, and that's the most important part of the project, and everything else is secondary, and it's his project so that he can manage budget and manage schedule. And then the second thing is that he doesn't value the other people in the project.
Well, I think there's some things that are really true. I mean, we need to work together as a project team. We need to be looking at the success of a project based on business value and what a project is contributing to a company. That means we need to all be working together. So I agree with your comment that if a project manager is just looking at a project from his own point of view, and he's just focusing on the schedule and budget and the scope, then he's not necessarily thinking about the broader picture of the business value and what all that means. So that is probably a good indicator there. When we look at business value, the schedule and the budget are important, but you need to be thinking about business value first and then putting it in that context. So when a project is started and expectations are set and everybody's working together and we've set that up, I think that those are good indicators, is that if everybody that is associated with the project and you talk to them are talking about the same things, about the same expectations, the same business value, if they put it in that context, about they're excited about what the project will bring, that's a really good indicator that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's right. And because, I mean, the issue, I think, from a corporate point of view, is that theoretically, at least, everybody that's part of that project is there for a reason. They're there to add value to the project. And if that's not recognized and that value isn't utilized and isn't taken, and their views aren't taken into account in the project preparation and all those different pieces, then you're not taking advantage of those skills. You're wasting money because you've got people that aren't being listened to, and they're going to become demoralized and just do their job and not actually try and build a real successful project.
And our role as managers and key stakeholders and leaders of projects is to be able to work with the individuals associated with the project, get the most value out of them, make sure that they that they are valuable contributors to the project, and also understand how that project and the outcomes contributed to the business value and success of the organization that they're working in. If they can make all of those ties of how they're part of the team, how the project contributes to the success in the organization, everybody's going to be a lot more successful and more happy and more engaged. The other point that I would make related to that is, if they understand all of those linkages, they will be more readily open to speaking up and letting us know when things are going wrong, when there's and they can tie it to what the outcome or why the reason that they're concerned and how that would impact the successful outcome of the project. If they can understand all of that and the linkages, that will help us to resolve issues much more quickly than if people just know their little piece of work that they need to do. If they can't tie that to everything, then it's going to be less likely that we'll find problems before we can do something about them.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. So to take it back to fundamentals, who do you think owns the project? Is it the project sponsor or is it the project manager?
Well, I don't think there's one particular owner of a project. Ultimately, the project sponsor is going to make some key decisions associated with the project moving forward, but it's going to be based on the groups and the people working together with the common understanding and sharing of information. If we can all look at it as our project and the decisions are being made at that level amongst the team of people involved, the stakeholders, the project team members, the sponsors. If we can look at it all together, then the decisions will be better. The ownership will be, everybody will own part of the project and be able to then contribute to the success. Sponsor will make some of the key decisions, but that's their role. The project manager will need to manage the scope, the schedule, and the budget and speak up when there are issues associated with that and the resources. The team members need to be involved in their own pieces, but everybody needs to know how that all fits together and what their ownership is associated with the project.
Okay, so that really gets back to one of the key messages that comes out of the strategic project management course, and that is that at the front end, you really have to have all of those expectations laid out, and all of the people have to know, why is this course adding value to the business? What is that particular value, and how am I contributing to that value?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the other part of that that's associated with it is we talk about how projects are really just ways to make key decisions, or there are mechanisms to make key decisions in the company. So the decision making associated with projects, that if we can tie that to the business value and the business outcomes, then the project will likely be more successful because to an organization, because then the decisions are made based on the business value. Well, then ultimately the business value will be there when the project is done.
So we can do without a project manager.
Well, that's a bit of a provocative statement, and I get that. And actually, it's true. There's going to be some times when you actually don't need to or want to pay for the project management just for the sake of having it. If the business value is there for the management of the project, then that's great. But you should be able to tie the value of the management of the project, the dealing with the risks, the schedule, the budget, the resources, to the value that the project is being given. If it's a routine project or a routine set of activities that you do regularly, you basically just need somebody to coordinate, make sure things are moving forward, not a strong project manager. You want a strong project manager for the big strategic projects where there's a lot more uncertainty, a lot more ambiguity of how you're going to get the business value out of things. That's where the value of the project management comes in, is when they're adding business value and you can tie it to that.
So it sounds like what you're saying is, and this gets back to the course itself and some of the key messages out of the course, is that it's the part of the preparation that's important. If you need to think about all of this stuff up front, get it out there, and have everybody on the same page moving forward, and then everybody's going to be adding their value to it, and you're using the right resources to achieve the business value.
Yeah, that's right. If like I was talking about, if there's a routine work that you're doing where everybody knows what they're doing, the preparation activities aren't very important because they're already set and established. So that's a really good point to make, is when you know that there's a lot of preparation work, the value in the project management and the setup of the project and setup of expectations becomes much more important, and you can see the value that you're going to get out of that.
Okay. So we suggest that if you get the opportunity, that you look at the project management course. It's called the Strategic Project Management course. We'll put a link down in the description below to allow you to go over and take a look at the modules. It's about 3 hours of modules, but it's probably about a 2-day course if you include all of the work in the workbooks. And it's broken into separate little modules that you can take in 10, 20-minute segments. But I think its biggest value is that it provides a bit of a cookbook to take you through a lot of that front-end stuff and expectations set up and understanding the value proposition and all of those pieces, so that you actually prepare to make your project a success. So if you please go take a look at it. It's linked down below, and we'll see you there.
And don't forget that there are a couple of free courses that are associated with it, or modules that you can take to see whether the course would be of interest to you. There's one that's called Value of Time, which I highly recommend that you have a look at. But there's also some of the intro work is available for you to preview to make sure that it will actually meet the needs of what you're looking for.
Good point. Okay, see you later.
See ya.